to the abuse that she gave one of her colleagues. And Lucy's still saying that the police understood and then escorted her from the premises.
Oh my God.
Have you ever heard when she talks in that book, Dangerous Normal People, where she's up at, the ex-partner at his door, and basically she boots his door in. And she talks about the police officers as they're taking her down the stairs. She knows that they fancy her.
Oh my God.
Wow, she has such a high opinion of herself.
Things like that. And they put her in the back of the van. And she knows, she can tell by the way they're looking at her that they just find her so attractive.
What?
This lady is deluded. Wow, I cannot believe.
How is she not locked up?
Wow.
No, I seriously, if any one of us was behaving like that, we would be.
Funny.
Well, no, if it was one of us acting like that, we'd be locked up.
Too right, definitely. But as, Fiona stated, it's the articulate, it's the big words, but what she doesn't know is the meaning behind these big words. This is where she's met a match with me. I'm Mrs. Intelligent, she's Mrs. Wannabe Intelligent. Right now, I've come along, she's realised she's met a match with me. I am a very clever woman. When I first come on here, I basically told everyone my story. So anyone tries to dig anything up about me, you're not going to, because doing what I did years ago, which I've admitted, being a silly young girl, got in trouble for antisocial behaviour, it's made me who I am today, which is a grown woman, 34. I'm now wanting to put something into the community, and that's not hurting children, that's helping people. For me, I've never ever come across, I'm not going to lie, we usually see these sort of characters on the TV. The fact that we're now sat here dealing with this female, this person, it's scary, because you know what I have noticed lately, there's more stories coming out with females that are, trigger warning, that are abusing men, children, and it's scary because females, especially when we're parents, we become nurturing naturally, we love our children, we instantly get that protection mode, that's it, we do everything to protect our children. The fact that she's got boys but then went and hurt somebody else's boy, for me it's she's a very sick woman, and we need this woman off this app. What else does scare me is the future. Is she going to use this app to potentially get a next victim? And when I say victim,
I think that's what she's doing. She's recruiting.
Yeah,
that's how she found me.
No, but
and it's vulnerable women
as well. I'm scared.
Child. She has contacted children. Yes, we know that, because one of the victims that I've taken under my wing was only 17 when she approached her.
Oh my God! Wow.
Was she over 6 feet tall?
She was. Yeah. No, not really. Of course it does.
Wow.
They are in touch with me, and I actually asked for their parents' phone number, and she actually gave me her dad's number, and I actually had a conversation with her parents because she was 17. Obviously, I could not really discuss it with her because I felt that she was a child. So I just said, thank you for contacting me. Could you please possibly give me a contact phone number of a trusted adult? And she actually said, oh yeah, here's my dad's number. So I actually spoke to this victim's father and explained how I had come across his daughter, and his daughter again was diagnosed with, she was very vulnerable, let's say, and I was able to help that victim going. She's now 18, she's turned 18 in the last couple of weeks, and her dad's actually given her full permission to obviously follow me, speak to me.
Yeah, she was in here earlier.
Yes, and personally thanked me, but again, that's yet another victim. To date, we have 16.
Wow. Honestly, I'm gobsmacked. I cannot believe this is a woman. Of all, for me, as well, I keep saying this to a lot of men who keep asking this, if this was us, why would the justice system put us into prison?
Exactly.
And this is where I am going to say now, just because I'm a woman, use a women, we're all sat here saying, no, we're women, and this is simply not all right. You cannot be doing these crimes. Do you know what I mean? So we're not going to sit here and justify another female's actions. We're not going to sit here and stick up for her. We're not going to fall for the little heartstrings. Let's get the violins out for, Lucy, because she's feeling down, or what else I've noticed what she's doing is she's robbing other people's stories, traumas, and
she does, yes.
And that there is a narcissistic trait. So once again, the narcissist always wants to be important. They want to always be the victim. And Lucy, if you're watching right now, don't try and tell me I am fucking wrong, because remember who's got the real qualifications here and who is valid. Because as I say, I will say this, for anyone who thinks this woman is allowed to even coach, work with vulnerable people, or even offer those services in private on here, do you know that is a criminal offence? And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that either later on, or that will be tomorrow, because it is getting late. So I want everyone to finish off, you know, tonight's episode, basically. But we will come back tomorrow and we'll do more of this, because I'm not going to stop until this woman, well, this creature is gone, Quagmires, because that's what I've nicknamed her. She can get off this app, because by the time I'm finished, I am going to make sure her face, her background, everything she is out there for the whole public to see. I'm going to let you know now. I've also rang Glasgow Social Services. And, you know, like there's concerns around where the child is. Well, I've actually mentioned this because I'm quite worried. He's a vulnerable child, left on his own. Every single day she's on the gin, but she's calling out people on here, telling people that, oh, well, if you've got addiction, go and feed your kids love chicken nuggets. Excuse me. Doesn't matter what we're feeding our kids, we're feeding them. She's not feeding them. I don't see her feeding that child. So where is it? Where's Colin? Because next that's going to be the new breaking news. Fucking Colin has gone missing, because for some reason she slags everybody else off for living a normal everyday life, and she wants to sit on him and go, I've got a high life, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But no, Lucy, you're not. I know you're watching right now. You sit there in your little t-shirts that've got a giant fish on, with that dirty glass that you never wash, and you're constantly watching. And then what you do, you are returning a response. And that is narcissistic traits. That is a psychopath at its finest, because what you're doing, you want to sugarcoat the headlines, what says about you. You're coming on here telling everyone that the media's apologised to you, they've edited certain stories. Listen, love, that'll never be a lie. You was on the register. You can never get, there's no coming away from having your name in that register, and especially for a female. All I'm going to say now is I've spoke to Glasgow Social Care. I can confirm that I've given my username on here. I've actually told them to go through to my council and confirm who I am, Lucy. So just listen to this very loud and clear. I've given the council's name, details. Everyone knows me on here. They followed my journey from the get-go. I was in a meeting with Director of Children's Services a few weeks ago, putting, you know, forward what should change for parents and what needs to be done, as well, and working with the local MPs, including Andy Burnham. Now, just because you're, hi Liam, thank you, my lovely. There's somebody, a genuine person that I help, you know, someone genuine, Lucy, because once again, another thing, I am going to tell you now, people that are following me on here, they're also following the awareness that I'm putting out, and they're coming to me going, this woman scares me, she triggers me. So then I've got to sit down and go, I'm so sorry you've had to see this woman. Well, why has she not had the kids took off her, but we've had ours removed? They're the questions, you know, I've got to answer. And it's sad, because once again, this lady hurts someone else's child, she gets to keep her children. Them parents would have had to go through child protection plans, you know, everything. I can imagine what it would have been like, the pressure for that poor boy, for the family. I can just imagine. But Lucy gets to sit back and use her big words to make her look like a victim. Well, I'm going to tell you this all now. This is going to end. What I did yesterday was screenshot every single video she has done, and I've also sent it to the sheriff's court. So she's got a legal binding document that states that she keeps harassing anybody, she'll be into trouble, whether it's third party. Now, this is classed as a third party, guys.
Yes.
I don't know if many of you know that. Some of you are clued up on law. I can tell you a little bit more, because obviously I do support a lot of families now as it is. But I am telling you, there is a legal binding document that states third party contact can be social media, speaking to a friend, speaking to a work colleague, so on, so on. So she has now broke the rules, just like she's saying Queen of Positivity is stalking her. Well, no. Positivity Queen's face is all over Lucy's profile. This is Lucy's obsession. Now, I'm the next one now. She keeps mentioning my hair. She looks like Jimmy Savile with that hairdo. I'm sat here with my normal hair. I've naturally got curly hair. right now I've straightened it. I've got a lovely little shine to it because I take care of it. Once again, Lucy wouldn't know that because Lucy's not allowed to go to a salon. Lucy's not allowed to go to the shops and buy beautiful clothes because she's not allowed out in the public. That's why she uses the canals. So she better stop sitting there slagging all these other mums off for how they look, what they feed the kids, because you know what, this is what we call normality. This is what parents do. We take care of our kids, we get on with our lives. We don't sit here and analyse other people and then start doing trigger videos back to them. So I'm going to tell you now, ladies, we are triggering her. And the reason why I'm saying that is because today I picked up on the responses, so straight back, comments are made about me on her videos. Now, guess what? If you look very closely at those profiles, they look like she's just set them up, couple of 100 follows, and she's talking to herself.
She does.
Yes. So I've analysed that though as an outsider, and obviously my professional skills, Lucy. I'm reading you with my skills, not with my mind or with my, thoughts or my bullying or whatever. This is what you call real life skills that I am using now, and I'm telling everybody I have analysed her profile. Those profiles, when you look at the pictures, some of them are off Google and a couple of them look like creepy little men that belong on the register too. So if there's some little desperate men out there and you think, oh, she's a bit of an alright, she's offering it out there, on a fucking plate, of course they're going to jump at her feet and lick her toes, because basically she's literally sitting there reeling them in, and some little creep will support that because they're not far behind her. So guys, what I want to say to you is as well, don't take her minions serious. And a couple of the women look like, well, put it this way, they look like they're a bit like Lucy, a bit more psychopathic, shall I say. So you don't know where these women have met. They could have met, in a criminal, in a criminal environment. So whether it's like probation, something like that.
Well, actually, Queen Bee, her main flying monkey is Lee Stewart, and she's been a registered nurse for 20 years, and I have factual evidence upon that, and so does the Fact Freak.
Oh, so
could I come in there and
yeah, of course, Fiona.
Speak about that? This woman who is apparently a registered nurse within the NHS in Scotland. What I would say to you is you be very, very careful, because you have a lot to lose. Because if you are a nurse, then you do have a career. Lucy doesn't have a career. Lucy has nothing to lose. And she is taking you down a very, very dangerous path. You as a nurse must have credibility.
Mm-hmm.
If it can be shown that you have made complaints to statutory bodies on Hoy's behalf or at her beckoning, then you are putting yourself in a very, very precarious position. So think about it. Because Lucy will take you down with her, because she has nothing to lose, because she has nothing.
And Fiona, what was that nurse's name again, my lovely?
It's Lea Stewart. And the reason I can say that name is because she's been sending me some very vile, nasty messages over the last few months. The Fact Freak has also, on the deep dive, revealed her. Again, the Fact Freak only deals with facts.
Yeah.
I also was in Lucifer's private WhatsApp group, where Lee Stewart was named as the one who does all the phoning to social services, to DVLAs, to benefit frauds. So I also have those voice notes. Don't FUCK with Queen's account. Please do go and give Laura a follow.
Guys,
Laura also received messages too.
I've got some amazing news, though. Do you know why this Lee comes to me? Because guess who I am literally now fighting with? I've got a big legal team, NHS. And do you know why? Because we've got staff members like this Lee Stewart who claims to hurt vulnerable people, but behind closed doors, what do? They're big bullies. So their career is a mask, but in the background, they abuse people. So I'm actually going for a huge case right now. And the reason why I'm saying is because there's been a few incidents on here where I've actually took that as well now forward. sue people because we've got fake doctors, fake nurses on here claiming to work on certain wards in certain hospitals. You ring them, they don't work there, but what they're doing is they're putting out people's, the wards details, which is not good. As for this nurse, I can tell you now, I'll be in touch with every single organisation and I'll make sure this nurse gets noticed. And if you look on my original profile, you will see all my doings with the NHS guys. They nearly killed me last year with anaphylactic shock. And when I say that, like literally, that'll be another story on here one time. My original account, the story is on there. But what I'm saying is I am going through a hell of a lot, and I'm not just fighting people's cases with local authorities, but I am now as well supporting people with complaints procedures within PALS. So I've got a couple of people that I'll reach out to tomorrow morning at PALS, and I'll make sure that I go to the healthcare watches, ombudsman, and I'll make sure this nurse does get recognised, because this is another thing people need to do. They need to be looking behind the scenes. The social worker who I spoke to yesterday took my username and hers. And the reason why I told him to take mine was because I'm not afraid to hide away, or I won't be sat here now telling you that I rang Glasgow Social Services and reported her and her behaviour, the victimisation, the bullying, because where is her child and how is this affecting her child as well at the same time? Imagine, the impact this is having when he's sat there and she's screaming down her phone and headbutting a camera because somebody's just called her something. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he is exposed to that. So I told the social worker, if you type her account in, you will see her on a live, and if you challenge her on a live, just as a normal person, she'll become defensive. You see the gin, you see the alcohol. Next minute, you said, oh, can I take your username, love? Anyway, luckily, he said at the end, it's been passed on to all the managers, and she's being observed as from yesterday and last night. She set a profile to private. Did anyone get onto that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's open again now.
Yeah. So,
could I just jump in and just quickly say something? So everybody who has received abusive messages on fake accounts from Lucy, unfortunately for her, there is one tell that runs through all of them. And this is some that, people that have been sent messages years ago, stuff that I've been sent, stuff that Emma's been sent. Also, she is saying that I've sent her 20 or 30 emails. She's posted a couple online. That also has her tell in. So if you have received any abuse from her on fake accounts and can't prove it's her, please send it to us. I'll put the email up again, because it all helps to link all the abuse from all these people, and none of us are connected other than Lucy, to just show the extent of the abuse and how many people she has victimized over such a long period of time. But yeah, in all of it, there's one little tell, and I won't disclose that. It'll be in the documentary. But please send stuff, because if we find it, we will confirm that we've seen the tell in your content.
thank you, Sarah. You're amazing, you are. You're all amazing.
Laura.
So for those that aren't aware, Laura, don't FUCK with Queens, is also a producer. And Laura and myself and the victims of Glasgow are all coming together, and we are actually in pre-production of making a documentary on Lucifer. So please do follow my account. Please do follow Don't FUCK with Queen's account. I don't post about Lucifer on this account. This is actually my personal account. My second account is stalked on TikTok, but there is a link on this profile at the top of my bio. You don't have to follow me at all, but please do go and have a look at the truth. And the documentary, I'm sure, will hit your screens very soon, because I think once everybody realises the damage that goes back centuries, thank you so much, goes back centuries with this woman. We aren't just talking about myself in a smear campaign on TikTok. We aren't just talking about Don't FUCK with Queens being in a smear campaign. We're not just talking about Queen being a smear campaign. We're not just talking about Sarah getting a bit of shit because she's doing some exposure. Fiona will back me when I say this. This woman has decade history of destroying people's lives.
Yes. And could I just come in here, because I saw a comment further up on the screen, and the comment was, how can we support people who are going to her for advice? And all we can do right now is continue to raise awareness of how dangerous she is. She has no training, no qualifications in any kind of coaching, therapy, and anything that she knows about narcissism, that's because she is a narcissist herself. And it's a real concern, and probably that's why it's so important that we come together and have a united voice, because she is very dangerous. Because if anyone were to disclose anything private or sensitive to her, they run the risk then of Lucy Hoy blackmailing them or contacting their employers, family, friends, and she will do that. She has done that. And again, so I hope has that answered the person who put that comment up. The best way that we can support any potential future victims of Hoy is to keep raising awareness.
I'm absolutely bushwhacked, but I will be on early in the morning with my usual awareness campaign.
And I'll be joining.
Well, you're more than welcome. You're all welcome. All of you are absolute warriors. Let's keep fighting the good fight, and I'll catch up with you all
And
tomorrow.
thank you for joining.
Big loves,
and
me.
sharing
Lovely
our
to have met
platform.
you.
Sarah.
Take care, everyone. Big loves, everybody. Take care.
Alan.
Good evening, everyone, by the way.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Emma's cousin, by the way.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, Emma added me in. How are we all doing? Because this has been a massive eye-opener. This is, yeah, absolutely.
Dan, 1 minute, my lovely. Guys, for all those sending gifts to Hull's account, thinking it's Fiona that's going to receive them, it actually isn't. Fiona doesn't actually, she does have a TikTok account, but she didn't have enough followers. So she's actually just using one of my friend's TikTok accounts. So please save your gifts. Honestly, we're not on here for gifts, but thank you for all that I've sent them. But honestly, that's not what this is for. Sorry, I'll pass. So yes, Dan is my cousin.
Thank you to
No,
Hope
not
for
at all,
allowing
not at
me,
all, but-
to use her account. She did so
Of
in
course.
January or the at the new year, and she stepped up to bat once again and allowed me to use her account. So thank you very much, Holes. So again, what someone like Holes has done is she's put her head above the parapet, because there is the risk now that Lucy Hoy will go after her.
Well, Fiona, Holly's one that Lucifer actually phoned. You know, the voice recording?
I
I
didn't
have?
know that.
That was Hull's.
Right.
So she already went for her.
She's gone. Yeah, this is what it's so concerning that nobody needs to suffer at her hands
Yeah.
alone.
Fiona, if you can
Speak
see in the comments, our Halls is actually on Tiny24. She was the first person that Lucifer phoned, and as you know, the phone call was absolutely disgusting. But honestly, Halls handled it like the boss girl that she is. She ranted and she raved at poor Holly for, I would say, at least 20-25 minutes. And Holly had the, well, just brilliant idea of recording it all for me, so I actually have that phone call recorded.
I was going to say that's the one that I was there as well. Yeah.
You were at my house that night.
was.
Fiona, mental health, Dan is actually my cousin.
Hello.
Hi Fiona, how are you? How stupid question? How are you?
Shall I tell you what? I hope I haven't spoken too much tonight, and I hope I haven't been
Done
shouting.
amazing.
But this has been going on for, as Lucy likes to remind everyone, for 7-8 years now.
Yeah.
Can I just jump in and share this one other story?
Fiona, please don't ask. We have done this live to give the Glasgow victims a voice.
Another
This
thing
is your
that she
live.
did was Lucy knew how to go up to the school gates, and the mother of her child sex abuse victim had children at the school, and Lucy would go up to the school gates and say the most horrendous things to people that she knew the mother. So this mother one day retaliated and raised her voice at her, and at that time Lucy Hoy was on the sex offenders register, so all she had to do was dial 101, say that she was on the sex offenders register, and by law the police had to attend. And this woman was charged of stalking and harassing Lucy Hoy, and it went to court, and her crime was apparently that she had called Lucy Hoy, she'd called her the P word. And the woman stood up in court and said, I never called her the P word, I called her a beast, because that's what she is. And obviously the case collapsed, and because these are the things that she has done. These are the things that she has done. So she never called it the P word, she called it a beast. And because does anyone notice how sensitive she becomes when you refer to her by the P word? And she gives you this great big analysis of, it triggers something in her when you call her that word. And she then gives you this big analysis, or this big, this big lecture on what it means in the definition, and it's about being attracted to young children, and she's not. But she has also been known to set up fake accounts as a young boy and message other young boys to encourage them to send them images.
Wow.
And these are all the things that, what happens is, like when it goes to for charges and all the rest of it, and then when it's going to court, what the Crown do is they kind of they'll say, well, what can we make stick?
Let's get those
What
likes in,
charges can we make
guys.
stick? And if you plead guilty to these ones, we'll drop other ones. So there were charges, or even if they weren't charges, there was an investigation into her setting up fake accounts as a young boy, a young teenage boy, and contacting other young boys. Now, if she's listening to this right now, she'll be doing somersaults. But that's what I heard anyway.
Wow, I'm absolutely shocked tonight, because I just didn't think, to be honest, I didn't think she'd show her face on this app after what she's already known for, and the fact that she continues to carry on doing what she's doing, and she's acting out with that behaviour as well, that is now telling me there is further potential for her to carry out a similar act, and she could use this app.
And another thing that she did was the family of her child sexual abuse victim, the youngest daughter, beautiful wee girl, who doesn't have great health. She is a diabetic, and Lucy Hoy went to police and said that child had gone into a shop to pick up clothing that belonged to her. And of course, once she made that complaint, the police then had to go to the family's door. And that young child, that wee girl, went into an insulin, like when they have she took a bad turn right in front of these police officers, because the child was screaming, I didn't. And Lucy Hoy knew that it hadn't happened, but she still went to police and made that complaint against a beautiful wee girl. And she had to listen while the police asked her questions about it. And that's just how. So it's almost as though I've noticed over this past day or two, Lucy's talking about the impact that it had on her children, but she never takes into consideration the impact
And the
it
victim.
has had on other people's children. You know, and she talks about, you know, like the abuse that our children suffered because there were these vigilantes within the local area. None of that was true. None of that was true at all. Any damage to them, I would say, was inflicted on them by Lucy Hoy and her behaviour. There you go. I don't know how if anyone's got any more questions they would like to ask me or
If there's any
that's
questions,
it. It's a
please add
hypo.
them in the
That's what
comments.
the child took a hypo.
Any questions, add them to the comments, guys. And mental health, Dan. Dan is actually my cousin, so I don't know if Fiona. I don't know if you've met Dan.
No.
I've put a post on today, and actually Dan's sister Claire, obviously my cousin too, came under attack because she visited my house one evening, and Lucifer decided to do a live against myself. My cousin actually jumped in the box and basically, you know, just basically said to her, "You are absolutely disgusting. I am the Queen of Positivity's cousin. Like, what gives you the right to speak about her like that? Everything you're saying is..." And she went absolutely mental, Dan, didn't she? Dan, meet Fiona.
Hi, Fiona.
Dan. Yeah, she doesn't take well when she's confronted with the truth.
No, she does
And
not.
that's when she flips. And if you were physically in her presence, that's when you would see the eyes darken, go black.
She has also accused Dan of trying it on with her online, Fiona.
Yes, that's a typical behaviour pattern that she has.
Yeah. I was going to say, amongst other things that she's accused me of as well, but do you know what? I sit back and I take it on my chin. But you, honestly, I've listened to you, I've kind of been in and out most of the evening listening, but you are probably, you are the most strongest, one of the most strongest human beings I've ever had the pleasure of being in a live with. Because, like, genuinely, wow, just wow. I actually don't, and Emma knows me very well.
Donna, can you mute, please? And I'll ask you to come in when Dan's... Thank you, my lovely.
Yeah, like, Emma and people in the live will know who kind of I am. I, not very often and very stuck for words, but at this precise moment, I kind of am. I kind of am, because I'm just, yeah. Yeah.
And again, Dan, you have had to witness myself being the centre of being stalked for the last 5 months. You've come round for cups of tea, you've come round with a hug, you've come round and supported me, my children, V. And you've been at the heart of it, I suppose, because you get to witness it in real life, don't you?
Yeah.
Could I say this, Dan?
Yeah.
If I've come over as strong, I have held the mother of that victim in my arms as she broke her heart. As she broke her heart crying about what that bastard had done to her child.
Yeah.
And that's a hard one. That's a hard one.
Sorry, I'm actually sorry. That's really sorry. That's really cut me. That. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
that's because to be, you know, and you feel so powerless that you can't take that pain away.
Yeah.
And you can't undo the damage that she has done.
See,
And for her victim, he has the right to anonymity.
yeah.
He has that right. And I'll be damned if that bastard is allowed to go on social media and continue to talk about it and to make money out of our fucking books and call herself a coach. Sorry,
Yeah.
and maybe I'm beginning to get upset now.
Dan, can you
Because
mute
the
a minute?
damage
Next.
that she has done, the damage that she has inflicted on innocent people and continues to inflict on innocent people. And that's why when I saw what she was doing to people like Emma and Laura Jane and the others that have come forward, to be silent would be wrong.
Fiona, a question. Hannah would like to know, tell us about how her books relate to reality.
They don't. What she has done is, I'll go back to what I tried to say right at the very beginning. Lucy Hoy has refused to accept. She refused to accept that man, God rest his soul, didn't want her. He didn't want her. And that's when she started the stalking, the harassment, and she was charged with stalking and harassing his ex-partner. And then she wrote the book. That's when she wrote the book and turned herself into this victim. She was no victim. She was a bunny boiler. The man didn't want her anymore. And that's allowed. That's allowed. And she couldn't accept it, so she wrote that book, her version of reality. Again, she refused to accept that she was convicted and that she is a child sex abuser, that she was placed on the sex offenders register. And then she came up with this book, The Forgivers Club. And that is about her fantasy of what happened. And in that book, one of the main characters is the mother. And she then writes these stories about how the mother stalked and harassed her. And something that I didn't know, because and I only became made aware of it the other night, was at the ending of the book, apparently the boy kills the mother and goes back to Lucy.
She does, yes. I've read the book.
That is very telling. That is very, is that what goes on in her mind?
Yes. I actually, on behalf of one of the other victims in Glasgow who hadn't read it and knew that I had it, I actually sat for about 7 hours and pre-recorded my voice as I read it to send it to them.
Think about that. That's in her fantasy. That's her fantasy.
Night, lovely.
She's also at times said that the mother was a lesbian and that the mother fancied her and that the mother was jealous that she chose to have sex with the son rather than her.
Wow.
This all may sound far-fetched, and for a normal person it would be very difficult to comprehend, to understand. And you would tend to think people don't do things like that. But she
does.
and she is not normal. I don't know. I tend to think that I actually think that there are some people who are just born evil. And I think she's one of them.
Definitely.
But what she could do is she could go and get herself a really good psychologist, and start doing some of that shadow work that she's now coaching people on. Lucy's never done any shadow work. This shadow work, that's Carl Jung, that's part of his theory. That's about everything that you've repressed that comes back as your shadow, and you project this onto others, and you know. I personally, I don't think that Lucy Hoy, she talks about, like she's gone and she's had so many assessments. All she's really had is maybe some psychologist from the criminal social work department, maybe run some tests on her, give her some assessments. But I'm quite sure that a good criminal psychologist, a good criminal psychiatrist would sit with her, because the signs are there.
I don't think there's any help for her, Fiona. After receiving the messages and the damage she has actually done to me for the last 5 months, I honestly don't believe anybody can help her, because I'll tell you why. She believes she's greater than God. She genuinely believes every word that comes out of her mouth.
She wants to feel important and in control.
I'll tell you this. That this is I wouldn't go near that woman unless I had a picture of the Sacred Heart of Jesus on me and a bottle of holy water.
She is evil, pure evil.
And that's what I've actually seen her flip physically when the eyes turn black. There's an energy about her. You know that way that they say that as human beings we have an intuition, that we know, a sense of knowing, and I think that that's what people sense around her. So maybe I'm speaking out of place, and
You're
so
not.
If that fella Colin, is it 3 years now she's been with him?
Yes, three years, she states publicly.
Yeah, so maybe it's because he doesn't see her full time 7 days a week, and she can keep her best behaviour for him. I don't know, but again, you know that it's because I think that to be in her presence for long enough, you would begin to feel very unnerved. You would sense, because it's the body language, there's an energy that she gives off that's unnerving.
Have you noticed, though, Fiona, that in the last 2 months she's never been allowed to do a live while she's been on the boat or when Colin's coming home? Something's obviously happened. Fiona, there's a question that keeps popping up, and it says, how did I meet you? So I suppose I can kind of say that for the last 5 months I am the current victim of the person that we're talking about. If you follow the Positivity Queen, which is the account, which is my personal account, in my bio there's a link which takes you to Stalked on TikTok, which is my journey of how I'm actually being stalked by the said person that we're talking about tonight. I actually brought it to TikTok. Second, Lucifer began a horrific, disgusting, vile smear campaign against myself, my partner, my children, my real life friends, my online friends, and I actually began to speak up because quite frankly I was very frightened about the dangers that this woman possesses online. I myself am a mother of 6, a grandmother to 3. My diagnosis myself is bipolar and post-traumatic stress disorder. I was actually Lucifer's client, and I shared with her some very deep secrets, I guess you could call them, and I spoke out about my journey with Lucifer, and the victims of Glasgow obviously saw this. They're asking how Fiona met Lucy. Well, obviously Fiona is friends with the victim, the boy, his mother. But I thought we'd already kind of made that quite obvious. She's a very close family friend of the victim.
What I'm saying is, they're saying no, they want to know how Fiona met her. Is that
I think so, yeah.
Area, I actually I probably lived about 2 blocks away from Holly. But because I'm older, I'm 64 years old now. So obviously, my son's 34, so I wouldn't have known her. You know the way when you've got young children and you get to know other parents from nursery and school, and so I wouldn't have, even although I only live 2 blocks away from her. Where we used to live, it's quite a high density area. Quite a big population, so to live 2 blocks away from someone and not know who they are, that's just the way that area is. And so I had ran in the area that I used to live in, that Hoy still lives in. There were issues in the area that needed to be highlighted, and So I, along with others, ran a campaign, and that's when I first got to know the mother. And it was one morning very early, and I saw the mother in the street, and something in me knew that she was distressed. Something was just telling me. And what I said to her was, do you want to come up for a cup of tea? And she came up and she revealed to me what had happened and what was happening. And that was when I held her in my arms and she cried. She broke her heart crying. And that was that was how I first became aware of who Lucy Hoy was. Lucy Hoy also, she would then get to know people or target, or not target, but become familiar with anyone that the mother knew. And the school happens to be, the primary school happens to be on the street that I lived on. And anyway, Lucy Hoy, you know, she I could hear her talking to her son about the mother, and because she knew that I knew the mother. And then I was walking up the road, she turned round and she said, are you following me? And that's when she screamed at me that I shagged him and he fucking loved it. So I've always, I know the family. I would like to think that I've tried to support as best I could the family through the journey that they've been on. It's been a hellish journey. They're a lovely wee family. They don't deserve what happened to them, not by that bastard anyway. And 7 years ago, after the court case, I genuinely thought that they would be left alone to heal, and that hasn't happened. She wrote these books, and she is adamant that she will remain on social media, that she will remain on TikTok no matter what, and that she will bring all of you down before you bring her down. That's how relentless she is. And all I can say is that knowing the damage and the pain and the trauma that she has inflicted on that young boy and his family, to remain silent when I now know that she's going after other people, for me that would be morally wrong. And I can feel myself becoming quite emotional here. Maybe I'm a bit tired now, but I can feel myself.
We're okay, Fiona.
But if it was your boy that she had done it to, if it was your son.
Big love, Fiona.
I think we can all answer that in our heads and our hearts without getting a banana off TikTok. I think each and every one of you can agree how we would feel. I'm
going to go now. Could I just say to you, from the very bottom of my heart, I thank all of you for staying strong, coming together and speaking out, because that's what's needed.
You're very welcome. We're going nowhere. We're with you every step of the way. You know that.
So good night and God bless you all. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank you.
Fiona.
And Fiona, thank you for sharing your truth. It's amazing.
Okay, good night. God bless.
Before you go, lovely, I just want to say a massive thank you for this evening. And, you know, you are strong. The fact that you've just come on and been able to help us out this evening as well. And basically, you're spreading awareness, you're helping us put that message out there. And this is what I mean, like, if all of us can come together as a community, we will eventually get her off here, because we can take this to a court and we can get that legal binding document that states she can no longer be on here. But we just need everybody to listen up, be on our side and work with us. This isn't a clout chasing thing or anything like that. This is a serious, you know, awareness. And the fact that you've come in tonight, and I can hear, you know, the passion in your voice to get this story out there, but I can also hear the sadness in you. And I'm so sorry as well that you're feeling like this evening. But thank you for coming in and putting yourself under that pressure, obviously, to explain this evening. So
Before Fiona leaves, guys, can we please get some hearts in the comment for Fiona, please? She is an absolute incredible lady. I am so humbled and thankful to actually call her a friend. We support each other. So please do drop your hearts in the comments for Fiona. Fiona, my lovely, honestly, you are absolute a credit, and I thank you for helping not only support me, but the Queen as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And thank you for being here tonight. And
You're so welcome.
Don't give up on the truth.
Never.
We won't.
We won't give up. We're with
Good
you
night,
till the
God
end.
bless.
Good night,
Good night,
God
my
bless,
lovely. Take
darling.
care.
Take care. Oh,
Don't FUCK with Queens is obviously what we would call, well, my duo. So I suppose, obviously, my little voice, I began on TikTok trying to speak out. And obviously, when you're just a nobody, your voice isn't really heard. Don't FUCK with Queens actually saw what a mess I was in. And she jumped on board to reach out and offer me some heartfelt support. This lady has become my, well, the biggest support on TikTok, quite frankly. And I honestly do not know how I would have survived the last 5 months without this amazing queen. So please welcome Dawn to FUCK with Queens. Please do give her a follow. She will be the one that is producing the documentary, which is a victim-led documentary, but I'm sure she can give you some insight into that and perhaps anything she has to say.
Oh, bless you. That's so emotional, as always. I mean, I think I've joked with Emma that we have a stalker in common, so it's almost like raising a child together. We're stuck together. But yeah, I think to really highlight, we're still getting victims coming forward. So if there is anybody here that has been impacted, if you want to share your story, if you want to remain anonymous, if you just want to feel like you're not alone, because there are so many people now, please do reach out. And our goal really is to give as many victims a voice that want it. Obviously, if people don't want to speak, they don't have to. But it's really, you know, what can you do? You can make people feel heard, and you can make people feel believed, and you can give them a voice. And I think that's really powerful. But it also has the benefit of raising awareness of how serious it is for other people. And I think it's so beautiful lately. We've seen such a growth in the movement and so many other wonderful people joining, like Queen Bee. So it's all of this is wonderful people coming together. It's a horrible situation. I'm so glad Fiona's spoken so much truth tonight. But we are coming together. And I do think a little voice gets very, very loud when there's a lot of us, you know?
It does, because for me, it's been 5 months. I'm not sure, Queen, when you and I actually met or how you even came into my life. But again, I am so eternally grateful that you did.
Aww.
Because you can just imagine, you know, I am incredibly vulnerable, you know, and I think TikTok gives you that insight. If you do follow me, that I'm very confident. Well, that's just TikTok, isn't it? But underneath, you know, my life story hasn't been the greatest. I lost my teeth through DV. You know, these are things that Lucifer keeps bringing to TikTok daily. You know, she was aware that I was her client. She was my coach. She was aware for 17 years that I had a great struggle with an eating problem. Every day she body shames women. And again, you know, the Queen is very good at reminding me that this is covert abuse. These are all things I've had to learn. I had absolutely no understanding what on earth I was dealing with. All I had was this brute of a monster on TikTok, absolutely trying to destroy not only my life, but my partner's, my children, my real life friends. It's been an absolute tirade of daily abuse, Queen, hasn't it? Both Queens.
Yeah.
You know, you both watch her, and every day I am mentioned, my children are mentioned, and this has been 5 months of sheer hell. It's incredibly difficult.
Is on her post. No matter what, every day, your name, your face is her priority. And now it's Queen Bee and Positivity Queen. So she's got a thing now with anyone. Well, that's
Queen.
The
Queen. It's the Queen,
you know what I
isn't
mean?
it?
This is what she's doing. She's trying to F with queens, and she's not going to F with us queens. I'm going to tell you that one right now. But yeah, that's
I've
what
stopped
she's
doing my lives. I haven't done my lives for I don't know how long. I used to love doing my lives, but the problem is my lives always a little bit like you, my lovely. They had incredible, humbled other, mainly women and men, sharing their own, let's say, trauma. It was all very trauma-related lives. And what happened was I became afraid to do lives because I've had to protect people now from her. This woman has not only targeted me and my family, anybody who supports me on TikTok, she goes for. So again, she's gone for yourself because you have stood up and said, actually, no, what you're doing is wrong. She's gone for Sarah from the Ghost because she stood up and said, actually, no, what you're doing wrong. Anybody that is associated with me, she goes for. And poor Laura, don't F-U-C-K with Queens, is called Laura, she's been absolutely ripped to shreds. Lucifer has contacted Laura's ex. Let's not forget all this. You know, this isn't just me being a victim. I began as the victim. And because Laura stood up and said, hold on a minute, you're not going to do this to this vulnerable woman. This woman has support. And Laura stuck up for me. She reached out to Laura's ex's girlfriend. Has absolutely tried to destroy her life, has dug into her personal history, her personal background, and she's done that because she, like me, has stood up and said, no, you're not going to bully us. This is what you are, and we see you for what you are. The community that we have is absolutely incredible. And honestly, there's so many watching this that, you know, Nick's here, Donna's here, Leanne D. There's so many incredible people behind the scenes. But do you know what's the worst part of this? I have stopped duetting. I have stopped commenting. I have stopped liking my favourite people's posts because I know that woman is watching my every single move and I do not want them to be targeted because of me. So I've had to step back to protect them, and they're messaging me saying, my God, Emma, what, you know, like, where are you? Like, you're not messaging me. And it's like, it's deliberate. Everything I do now has to be to protect other people.
Your life right now is restricted. And that's what she wants. That means she's in control. She's in control of your life on this app by restricting your life. And that is exactly it. You obviously now just saying that about, you know, well, it is a restriction. She is winning a little bit, and because she thinks, well, she's not winning in reality, but what I mean is in her eyes, she's winning because she's in control. Like, now she stopped coming on here doing her own thing, but when we're here doing things like this is where she's getting really triggered now because she's playing. She keeps playing with us, and we're not going to go away. We're going to keep coming at her. But then what I've noticed is, I'm not going to lie to you, I will be honest with you, I do have some major concerns over your safety with her. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat anything. I'm not about
No, please speak real. That's what we're here for.
To spread awareness, and I made that quite clear to the police and social media that I am worried, you know, about the victims she is naming on her live. And do you know what? It was the actual social worker who asked me, can you give me a couple of names? And obviously not your name, but it was some of the Glasgow victims, and I did. I give out the names and straight away went, you're right. And that's all I can tell you. Yeah. All I can say now, though, is she is being watched, and every little bit of her movements, even the petty behaviour, even the stalking, that will be going from social workers straight to the police, because social workers are involved with her right now because she's on the order. And they have to be involved because she's on a probation because she's on community service and things, social care do have a duty to be involved and liaise with school, also do risk assessments and parenting assessments. She has to keep up with all of that. So now, because I've reported her, yes, well, it's not really reporting because we're already aware of it. I've just reported the behaviours, what she's doing on this app and how it's affecting people. Straight away, they said to me, we will make sure now every video that she posts, they will monitor, because at the same time, she's also putting in certain things about a child. For me, it's scary that she can show that child's face on camera, knowing full well she's bringing harm to her and her family. She did the crime. What she's doing is, oh, well, this is my child now. Just imagine, worst case scenario, someone wants to get back at her. Trigger warning, guys. Someone wants to get back at her because of that crime she committed. And
her children are there. And I think this is what Queen and I have said all along. There was one video that she posted that she has a tendency, and the Queen will back me in this, she will post, when she's intoxicated, she will post the most vile and disgusting content you can imagine. It's either against myself, it's against Queen, or it's against somebody, and then she'll quickly remove it when she sobers up.